Parasocial relationships. While your brain thinks a stranger on a screen is your friend isn't a quirk, it's a hijacking of the exact same wiring you use to love your closest people. You've never met them. They don't know your name. They couldn't pick you out of a crowd. And yet, when they wave at the camera and say hello, some quiet part of you waves back. You might even feel a flicker of joy when they post, a small drop when they disappear for a week. That warmth is real. It is not pretend, and it is not silly. Your brain is not confused by accident here. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It just happens to be doing it in a situation it was never ever built for. And once you see how that works, you can't unsee it in your own life. Stay with me, because the reason is stranger than it sounds, and it says something surprisingly hopeful about how you're built to love. So here's the question worth sitting with. Why does a one-way connection feel so much like a two-way one? You know, rationally, that the person on screen can't hear you. There's no relationship in the technical sense. There's no shared history that goes both directions. Just pixels, a schedule, and a stranger talking into a lens. But knowing all of that changes almost nothing about how it feels. You still care. You still notice. You still form opinions about their life. And feeling, not logic, is what your brain reaches for first. Logic arrives late, if it arrives at all. That gap between what you know is true and what you can't help but feel is exactly where this whole story lives. Everything that follows happens inside that gap. So let's walk into it slowly and figure out what your brain is actually doing. Because the answer isn't about willpower at all. It's about wiring. Watch where it shows up in an ordinary week. You laugh at a joke a podcaster makes, and you glance sideways, as if to share it with someone who isn't in the room. You feel a small pang when a favorite creator takes a break. You catch yourself defending them in an argument with people you actually know, people who can hear you and answer back. You remember details of their life more easily than a coworker's. None of that is strange. None of it means anything is wrong with you. It's your social instincts firing right on cue. The cue just happens to be a screen instead of a face across the table. Your brain treats the signal as genuine because for most of human history, that signal only ever came from someone real. It never had a reason to build a filter for anything else. Notice it once, and you'll start catching it everywhere, in yourself and in everyone around you. Now think about the last time a stranger's face felt oddly familiar. Maybe a streamer who talks to you almost every night. Maybe a news anchor your grandparents trusted for decades, whose voice meant the day was ending. The face returns. The voice returns. The little habits return. The same laugh, the same phrases, the same way of leaning toward the camera. And your brain quietly logs all of it. The same way it logs a coworker, a neighbor, a friend from school. Repetition plus a face, plus a voice, plus emotion equals someone I know. That equation is ancient. It runs underneath your awareness, without asking permission. And crucially, it does not check one thing. It never checks whether the person can actually see you back. That single missing check is the entire mechanism. It's why a stranger can occupy the space in your mind that a real relationship usually fills. Think about that. A stranger occupying a seat in your mind that was designed for the people who actually know your name. This has a name and it is older than the internet by decades. In 1956, two researchers, Donald Horton and Richard Wohl, were studying television when it was brand new to most homes. They noticed something odd. Viewers were forming genuine bonds with hosts who could never bond back. People spoke about these performers like friends. They missed them. They felt known by them. So Horton and Wohl gave it a name. Parasocial interaction. Para meaning beside or alongside. A relationship running parallel to a real one, built from the same materials, but moving in only one direction. They spotted it in flickering black and white TV with just a handful of channels. Now imagine that same instinct met with endless feeds, live chat, and creators who look straight down the lens and say you're kind of person. We are living inside the high-definition, always-on version of what they saw. The bones of what you feel today were already forming in living rooms 70 years ago. Here's why the trick works so cleanly. Your brain did not evolve to tell a real face from a recorded one. It couldn't have. For almost all of human history, if a face was looking at you and speaking to you, it was a person. Right there. In your world. Within arm's reach. There were simply no other options. No screens, no photographs, no voices without bodies. So the systems that read eyes, tone, micro-expressions, and warmth learned to trust the input completely. They had no reason to doubt it. A face on glass looks, to those very old systems, exactly like a face in the room. The eyes move, the mouth speaks, the voice carries feeling. Everything the machinery checks for is present. So it does what it always does. It says, "This is someone." And once it says someone, the door to connection swings open on its own. No warning light ever comes on to say, "Careful, this one can't actually see you." The signal just gets trusted, instantly and completely. For a long time, scientists assumed only one kind of person did this. The lonely one. The isolated one. Back in the 70s and 80s, the leading idea was that parasocial bonds were a substitute. Something you reached for only when real people were missing from your life. A patch over an empty space. And there's a real thread of truth in that. Research does suggest that loneliness can deepen these bonds, and that people who feel isolated may lean on them harder. But the fuller picture turned out to be messier, and honestly, far more interesting. Because these bonds are not the behavior of a struggling few. They show up in the outgoing and the shy, in the connected and the isolated, in people with full social lives and rich friendships. This isn't a symptom of something missing. It's a standard feature of how nearly every human brain handles a familiar face. That shift matters, because it changes the question from what's wrong with me to what is this instinct really for? So if it isn't just loneliness, what is it actually doing for you? Think of it as social snacking. Picture it clearly. A handful of chips won't feed you for a whole day. But it genuinely takes the edge off the hunger in the moment. It's real food, just not a full meal. Parasocial bonds work the same way. Following a creator, laughing with a podcaster, checking in on a streamer at night, these are small bites of connection. And they do something real. They soothe. They calm. They ease that low background ache for company. They are not fake. That comfort is not imaginary. They simply don't carry the full weight of a friendship that feeds both people, that asks something of you and gives something back. Snacks were never the problem. The trouble only starts if you try to live on them and forget what a real meal even tastes like. And knowing that, you stop feeling foolish. You start feeling curious about your own hunger and what actually satisfies it. And this shapes decisions you would swear were purely your own. You buy the thing they mentioned. Not because of the ad, but because a friend's recommendation carries weight, and your brain quietly filed them under friend. You trust their opinion over an expert's because trust tends to follow familiarity, not credentials or evidence. You feel loyal, protective, personally invested in how their story turns out. When someone criticizes them, you bristle, as if they insulted a person you love. That reaction is not weakness. It is not embarrassing. It is the same loyalty circuitry that once kept a small tribe alive, the wiring that made you defend the people around the fire. It worked beautifully for thousands of years. It's just pointed now, through a lens and a screen, at someone who will very likely never know that you exist at all. Same ancient program. Brand new, strange target. There's a quiet cost here, and it's worth naming plainly without any alarm. One-sided bonds ask nothing of you. No compromise. No awkward silences you have to sit through. No moment of being misunderstood and having to repair it. No need to show up when it's inconvenient. They are completely frictionless. And real friendship is not. Real friendship is effort. It's timing that doesn't line up. It's forgiveness. It's staying when it would be easier to leave. So when the frictionless version is always available, glowing in your pocket, ready the second you're bored, the harder and richer kind can quietly start to feel like too much work. Not because you ever chose that, not because you're lazy or broken, simply because the easy option kept showing up first. Every single night. Always available, always smiling. And convenience, repeated enough, slowly reshapes what we reach for without us noticing the drift. None of this is a warning. It's just worth seeing clearly, so the drift stays your choice and not the default. But here's the reframe that changes everything. This wiring is not a defect. It's not a glitch to be ashamed of. It's a feature that, most of the time, quietly helps you. The very same instinct lets a nervous teenager try on an identity in safety. One 2017 study found that parasocial bonds can actually help adolescents shape who they are and build a sense of independence at a comfortable distance. Think about how useful that is. A shy kid can borrow the confidence of a favorite voice. They can study how someone they admire handles pressure, or speaks up, or bounces back. And they can do it with zero risk of being judged in return. No social cost. No fear of rejection. Unlike learning from peers, which can come with mockery and status games, a parasocial bond offers a private rehearsal space. A safe place to practice becoming yourself before you have to do it out loud. Real connection and a screen bond were never enemies. They were only ever meant to sit side by side. And the research keeps softening the old fear. A large review of studies spanning 2008 to 2022 concluded that bonding with media figures, and even with fictional characters, can support identity and well-being, rather than wreck them. Let that land for a second. These bonds can model kindness you didn't grow up around. They can teach a skill, a language, a way of thinking. They can offer real comfort at 2 a.m. when the house is silent and no friend is awake to answer. For someone far from home, a familiar voice can genuinely soften an ordinary hard day. The danger was never the connection itself. The connection is human, and often good. The only real risk is mistaking the snack for the entire meal. It's letting the easy bond stand in for every bond. It's forgetting to also sit down, sometimes at a real table, with people who can actually sit down across from you. Try it for a week and just watch what shifts. Most people are surprised by how quickly the noticing alone starts to change the pull. So here's a small experiment you can run on yourself. Not a rule, not a fix. Just an experiment, done with curiosity. The next time that warm, familiar feeling arrives, when a creator's hello lands a little too personally, simply name it. Say it quietly, in your own head. This is a parasocial bond, and it's a real feeling. That's it. Naming it doesn't kill the warmth. It doesn't make you cynical. It just hands the steering wheel back to you gently. Then ask yourself one honest question at the end of the day. Did I reach for a person today, or only for a screen? Not with guilt. Guilt helps nothing. Just with plain curiosity, the way you check a bank balance. You're not judging the number. You're just looking at it clearly. And over time, that small habit of noticing tends to rebalance things all on its own, quietly, without force. Small noticing, repeated. That's the whole practice. No apps, no rules, no pressure. Just honest attention given gently to your own habits. So no, your brain isn't broken when a stranger on a screen feels like a friend. It's simply running its oldest program, the one that reads a face and reaches toward it, inside a world it never saw coming. The warmth is genuine. The wiring is only doing its job, the same job it has done for thousands of years. What's new is not the feeling. What's new is that you now get to decide where it points. And maybe tonight, when a familiar face waves at the camera, and you feel that soft, automatic pull to wave back, you won't fight it or scold yourself for it. You'll just know exactly what it is. A real feeling, running an ancient script on a very modern screen. And knowing that, you'll choose, with open eyes, who else in your actual life deserves that same wave.